$70 for the double pack, or $80 if you have to buy them separately over a course of time. Yeah, so now I'm looking at this going, I'm gonna see what Mario Galaxy 2 looks like, because I do want to play through it again, and this is going to be the best way to play it. But I don't really know if I want to spend 40 bucks on it when I do have it on the way. It's a whole thing. We'll see as we get closer to its release, which is coming out pretty soon, October 2nd, and see if some of these enhancements do make it worth the money. Next up, let's talk about Sony and an apparent state of play that people are expecting to happen either this week or the following week, certainly ahead of Tokyo Game Show. And there's a certain game that people are pointing out could be there, as we're expecting details on it before the end of the year. And this would be a pretty big event for Sony to show up and at least mention that this thing is still happening, and that's Wolverine from Insomniac Games. Well, now we have a new report coming out of MP First. We can see this posted, where they say someone familiar with the situation has confirmed to MP First that Wolverine will stick to the 2026 scheduled release seen in the leaks, and that the Venom project remains in development. They're referring to some of the ransomware stuff that got out there a couple of years ago now from Insomniac, where we saw, all kinds of stuff with Wolverine, to where people were trying to port the game over to PC and reconstruct it so it was at least in somewhat of a playable state. Yeah, without any kind of texture work, but just like trying to make it so you could start it up basically and try it out. But on top of that, we found out that they had what seemed to be a Spider-Verse multiplayer game that was canceled alongside of this Venom game that was supposed to have already been out or coming out this holiday. It's not announced now, so I assume it's not coming out this holiday, but it does appear that it's still in development. They say, as a final note, we've also come across some clues
I'm not saying it. I'm leaving.
Insomniac is currently working to include Miguel O'Hara, also known as Spider-Man 2099, in one of their projects. While we don't know if it will be in Venom, it's more than likely that this is related to Spider-Man 3. So let's go down the schedule here for Insomniac. We're expecting now Wolverine to come out in 2026. So it makes sense they show it at Tokyo Game Show then, just to remind us that it exists and maybe show us gameplay or some story beats for it to get the ball rolling on that. And then it seems that Venom might be coming out in 2027, so the following year. All right. Which, if you think about it, they showed us Spider-Man 2 and then the trailer for Wolverine. Yes, we're still waiting for Wolverine, but Insomniac has done reveals and releases that Ratchet and Clank and stuff around each other. So it wouldn't shock me if Venom did come out the year after Wolverine. And then Spider-Man 3, having Spider-Verse or Spider-Man 2099 involved, also is not surprising. Play through Spider-Man 2, do some of the side quest missions, and see what you find out with some of those story beats. But this all makes sense to me. So with all of this really building, I guess, a state of play in the next 10 days, it should have Wolverine. A closeout for it I think would be cool, especially if they have the 2026 year ready to go. So you have that, you have Soros, and maybe a few other surprises like that God of War, Metroidvania, that HD, or that 2.5D style game. Sony could start building up a pretty good 2026, but they got to get it started here soon with that state of play, so we'll see if Wolverine's ready to make an appearance. Next up, let's talk about Sony, as they had an entire business presentation, this sort of a snapshot of the overall Sony corporation. This includes several sectors, and yes, gaming is part of that. So we can see this over on page 36, where they start talking about different gaming subsections with revenue coming in, and you can see this little chart they have, kind of dividing it up. And we can see add-on content, digital software, network services, other hardware, and then physical software. And you kind of have to zoom in to see physical software because it's 3%. Yes. Now, add-on content would include a lot of the microtransaction stuff, and you can see it is the largest piece of that pie. Digital software also being there alongside of it, and network services. So yeah, when you look at anything physical, the hardware and physical software, that's tough, because of course we do want to be able to buy I at least want to buy games on disc for PS5 and then eventually PS6. But when you see these kind of numbers and things are divided up, it doesn't look great for physical software. Now, I do want to point out there is a little bit of a caveat to this whole thing. So, the way that Sony is expressing this, it's gross revenue. Digital software flows exclusively through the PlayStation Store through their network, so they can track all of it. So if somebody buys a game like they buy Resident Evil Requiem for $70, Sony will track the entire 70. If you buy it, say, at retail, Sony is not able to track all of that. They track the royalties that they collect from Capcom in that case. So anything done between the retailer and be able to produce the discs and ship them out of logistics, Sony does not view. So take 30% from that royalty, and that's kind of what's being acquired here for physical software, alongside of the entirety of the first-party lineup. That's why that appears so small compared to the digital side, all right? Everything's counted for digital because it all flows through PSN. Not everything's counted for physical because it doesn't. Still, though, we know that, yes, the digital side is completely taking over. You just look at that and then look at the add-on content with microtransactions. Most of the business for Sony when it comes to selling games is being done digitally at this point. Still, it seems like they are lining up an attachment, I should say, for a disk drive for the PlayStation 6. So cross my fingers hoping that we get at least one more generation out of Sony with physical media, and then we can reconvene, I guess, in, 2034, 2035, and have the conversation all over again. And in our last bit of news, we're going to circle back around here to Square Enix, because they had a bit of a surprise announcement when it comes to the Final Fantasy VII Trilogy and exclusivity. This we can see over on their social media account, where they say the remake trilogy will also be making its way to Switch 2, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox on PC, as well as PlayStation 5, Steam, and Epic Games Store. Yeah, so we already heard about Rebirth, that going to Xbox and the Switch 2. We have Remake Intergrade going to Xbox Series and Switch 2 January 22nd. Seems like Rebirth is already getting lined up, and then on top of that, the third game in the trilogy, the finale, has now also been announced in this way of, oh yeah, the whole trilogy is going over to these platforms. We know Square Enix has been working to expand, we'll say, more multi-platform focus. And this would make a lot of sense for them going towards that third one, since I do feel like Rebirth, I think it sold well enough for them, but I think they were expecting more just outright for Rebirth. Definitely with Remake, it took a little while, but it seemed like that did finally get to a position where, like, okay, we're good. But Rebirth, I just don't think it's done the numbers that they were hoping for. So they themselves, Square Enix, has mentioned, I mean, everything seemed to be under expectations for them. Like, we've gone over this multiple times. But they also have to remember, hey, if we do these exclusivity deals, even if it's timed exclusive to Sony, we have to understand there's just less people to sell to, so maybe the expectations have to come down a little bit. Or if you're shooting for those crazy expectations, you got to give the game the best chance possible. You're a third-party developer, like you're not, or a studio, publisher. You're not there working with Sony on the PS5 to put it out there and have to sell them. Square's job is to sell software. So here they are now with the trilogy coming up. I assume that Rebirth is going to be coming pretty quick after Remake Intergrade, because I think the third game to finish up this trilogy is coming, yes, before the PS6, go figure. I almost think that's like beginning of 2027, end of 2026, and I almost wonder if they're lining up to make an announcement for this third game, maybe at the Keighley's, believe it or not, in December. It seems like they are pushing quickly for this trilogy to finish up here during this generation. It wouldn't shock me if it was there. As they've already said, we're trying to figure out now where we're going to announce, or at least show the title for the last game in the trilogy, and everyone, of course, still trying to take a guess on that. So there we go. The trilogy for Final Fantasy VII, the Remake trilogy, is on its way to just about every platform now as they make that push towards the third reveal. And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, have you played Super Mario Galaxy 2? 57% say no, 43% say yes. Interesting. Okay. Mario Galaxy 2 came out in 2010. That was sort of on like the... Eventually the Wii just fell off a cliff in terms of sales. I don't think it was right there. It was later on, I think, that year. Going into 2011, definitely. But it was in the back end of the Wii U's lifetime. Or the Wii's lifetime, going into the Wii U. And Mario Galaxy 2 is, people look at it as one of the greatest 3D platformers ever made, and it is absolutely top tier. So the fact that there are people, majority, have not played the game, and Nintendo bringing it up to the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, they're going to get people on this game. People are going to buy it. It's going to do well. We're going to hear about it in their sales report. Coming in October. We'll hear about that next year for the holiday season. It's just one of those things. Nintendo knows right now the market is just buying up all this stuff that they're putting out there. And yeah, they're testing the market with some of these prices. And we'll see how that goes for them throughout this generation, because it doesn't seem like a trend that's going to be slowing down anytime soon. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Tuck, who says, Twilight Princess HD. People are still asking for it because we already have Wind Waker now through the GameCube, but I think people need to remember Nintendo might just drop Twilight Princess into the GameCube NSO since it did come out on the GameCube, and it's a little different because it didn't use the motion controls, and I know Twilight Princess HD doesn't need it either, but that GameCube version is kind of interesting. And, like, you have a left-handed Link in that game, which on the Wii they made it right-handed because the majority of people are right-handed for motion controls, but I think it would be kind of cool if they just dropped it into the GameCube just for that version itself being accessible, although I get the HD version if people want that too. Maybe they should do a double pack. Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD for $70. Or hey, I got $40 separately, just in case you want to buy one now and save for later. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed my Nintendo Direct wrap-up, I did an entire video going over all the announcements there in about 25 minutes. I'll leave that right up here in a card. Or maybe you wanted to see how the PlayStation Vita online store is doing in 2025. I checked that out over the weekend in a video, and I'll leave that right below. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.
When they're talking about is the dynasty over, trust me, when you lose 3 in a row, people don't show. Everything changes. Absolutely. It's gonna be fun, man. Because I know the Cowboys are doing this is exactly gonna be all over.
True.
So let's not let that
title town over there.
Title Town. He gotta put that tag on it. Title Town has gone down. Always for sure.
I just want to know what's so funny. Everybody's laughing at me. What's so funny? It's not Mike's not that funny. Like everybody's just laughing at everything he says. He's not really that funny.
He's a guest.
It's kind of fun.
Right.
It's kind of fun.
That is good. That's good.
It's like, whoa.
It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Missouri, just to name a few. Underdog is dropping awesome promos all week long, so make sure y'all check the app to see what's next. If you're new, use code ITISWHATITIS when you sign up, play $5, and they'll drop $50 in bonus funds your way. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your host Cam. Mace will be here soon, and today we have our analyst Michael Irvin live in studio.
Mike is in the studio? Yo, listen, man, I'm hyped to see my big brother Mike in the studio. I don't think Mike would have showed up if Russell Wilson would have finished the job. Because listen, we already see Mace's conveniently running late. Mike came in here high stepping. Right. Like they did something crazy. Like they were supposed to go to the limit with the Giants. But being that he's here, I'm just happy you look good. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming, man. Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate that, man. And I've been looking forward to coming to hang out with you guys right here in the studio, man.
Thank you, man.
And everything. And man, wow though, what a fight last night, huh?
Yes.
What a time, man.
Yes.
So yeah, just thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Nah, come on.
And let me say this too. You ain't lying. Boy, I was sweating like a motherfucker, boy. I said, these jokers better not lose and I'm over here. I gotta walk in that studio. All them jokers ain't gonna let up off this player. Listen, you ain't never lied. I thought about that.
Listen, think about this, right? And I know we're gonna get into it, right? We lose our quarterback, the Bengals, because I'm a Bengal fan. We lose our quarterback. And we end up with Brown and winning this game. And I'm saying to myself, cool. Pittsburgh lost. Chiefs lost.
Right.
You the only one in the state. You the only one saying. Because I was about to come here and start doing the gritty on y'all when I got here. I was about to hit the gritty on all three of y'all. But Mike ended up pulling it off. Stat, I see this, conveniently the Steelers aren't up here today. I see that's not up on our topics, but we'll find time for it if need be. As a matter of fact, they are on here.
They are. I have to. Just a little lower. If we don't get to it today, there's always another day. But of course, Mike, glad to have you here in studio. We will get to that game, but we got to start with the fight, y'all. So Terrence Crawford beat Canelo to become the first male fighter to win an undisputed title in 3 weight classes in the 4-belt era. Mike, what did you think of the match? Were you there? What were your thoughts?
I was absolutely right there. Partook in all the pre-game festivities, and Netflix did such a fabulous job. I mean, really, coming into sports and what they're doing now since they've gotten into sports. My guy over there, Brandon Riggs and Gabe, those guys are really doing a great job. But it was epic to be in there last night. It was epic. Everybody was in there. It was, and you could feel it. When they started the fight, and those guys were walking out, I promise you, I had cheer bumps all on my arm. Now, and I'm sitting there watching the fight. We're right in the front. I'm with Charlie Sheen. I got Jeremy Renner and David Spade, right? And we looking around, and I took a pic and we posted it, and they were killing us in the comments, about what a group,
Yeah.
What a lineup,
Quote. Line up. In quotations.
Hey, they were killing us in the car. But man, and even being around those dudes, because y'all say what you want, man. Sheen, I always saw as an OJ. Well, a real one, he could have been one of us. That's what I said.
You get a few of those.
He could be one of us.
Right.
So sitting there with them and watching a fight like that, and we would commentate to each other, man, that was great, man. That was real great. It really was. And then I didn't know, if they felt what I felt. So then I waited. I went to the after party, and that's when Jeremy Renner came up to me and said, man, did you feel that? I said, yeah, you felt. I said, oh, okay, it's okay to talk about it then. Right. So yeah, it was epic, man. I was happy.
Okay to talk about what?
What? The man thing. That I did feel. I didn't want, because I'm the only football player.
Right.
And these are all massive actors, so. Right. Maybe they were doing an acting thing, but no, it was a locker room thing for me.
Right.
But they came back and told me, that was locker room.
Right.
Like we should do it again, and so I hope we get a rematch out of this thing with Netflix.
Yeah,
do that
man.
again. But it was great. It was great for Crawford. Now, let me say this right there. Let me tell you why it's a bud. All the champions that we know, we love, and that is epic, and has earned what Bud has earned. They get a higher loft. Mike Tyson is something different. Sugar Ray Leonard is something different. Bud Crawford, threw his name up here.
Right.
Threw his name up here with all of those guys. Now, that's his name. Now, his game. Mike Tyson gets up there because he's a vicious, I'm gonna rip your head off.
Yeah.
And everything, you know. Sugar Ray is sweet, but Bud is just a great dude, man. He gets up there and thank God and everything, and a good dude. So I hope he gets the credit he deserves when he doesn't have that kind of a game.
Right.
I mean, off the out the ring.
Right.
Because he has that kind of game in the ring. He's a bad man.
Right. Bud kicked ass. Bud kicked ass from beginning to end. To be honest with you, I was a little bit pissed off at the judges, two of the judges' scorecards having a 115, 113, because that means you only had Bud winning by 2 rounds. And to me, it was a. I'm not gonna say he shut Canelo out. I'll give Canelo 3-4 rounds, but it shouldn't have been more than an 8-4 judges scorecard. And that's why I'm happy, because a lot of people saying he gonna have to knock him out because he can't win by decision because they're going to cheat and give it to him. But he beat him so convincingly that they wasn't able to do that. That's first and foremost. That's what I will say. So congratulations to Bud. I was coming back from San Diego. I'm pissed off. Mike has hit me like, yo, where you at? I'm stuck on I-5. I see half the phone. I have to fight on my phone. The other half in my house. They want to see gruesome fight. You know, the casual boxing fan didn't understand the technical beauty of what happened last night from Terrence Crawford. They be like, yo, what happened this, that, and the third? You gotta realize what you said. Bud doesn't care about having a personality out the camera. He doesn't care about being in New York. He doesn't care about being in Los Angeles. He cares about Omaha, Nebraska, and he's a fighter. One person that happened to, and I related to, but it kind of reversed for Marshawn Lynch, to where he became a personality for not wanting to be a personality. I'm only here so I don't get fined. And that became a larger-than-life personality. But Bud is like, listen, I'm here to be a fighter. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. And he gave a beautiful boxing exhibition last night. Moving up 3 weight classes. A lot of people will say 2. He only had 1 fight at 154. He's fighting 147 for years before that. So I'm saying he moved up 3 weight classes and put on a beautiful fight. Even when he wanted to get in the phone booth with Canelo, he'll get in there 20, 30 seconds and get out. Take 2-3 rounds off box, get in there 20, 30 seconds and out. And last round they gave a little bit of more, you know, what the people wanted. But if you ask me, and I seen him talking, and I have no proof of this, but I seen him talking. He talked to Floyd Mayweather. Anybody who talks to Floyd Mayweather ends up winning the fight. I don't think it's more brilliant boxing mind in boxing ever than Floyd Mayweather. I'm not just talking about in the ring. I'm talking about things leading up to the fight.
All the way around.
All the way around.
His whole business of boxing.
Floyd will never say this, and I can't say it, he's right or wrong. He's the one who said, yo, Ryan, come in 3 pounds overweight. Against that nigga Devin Haney, nigga. Come in 3 pounds overweight. Yo, Tank, when you fight Ryan, put the rehydration clause in there. He can't gain weight next day. Make sure he stays at the 140 mark, so therefore he can't come in weighing 165. His boxing IQ outside of the ring leading up to fight is just tremendous. I speak to Floyd from time to time. He say, Cam, man, listen, man, everybody want to take my way now. When I was telling niggas to go, I forget the phrase, but the Olympic style drug testing, nobody wanted to do it, but Floyd was real adamant. They do it now, but even the Pacquiao fight, that fight took so long because Pacquiao didn't want to take the Olympic-style drug testing. And Floyd was like, if you're not cheating, why don't you want to take the Olympic-style drug test? They do it now, but I just think that his IQ is bigger than anybody in boxing. And to have Terrence Crawford, to have that friend before this fight, when the only person who made Canelo look this bad from a boxing exhibition is Floyd Mayweather, even though Canelo was younger. But to me, he made Canelo look stupid. I'm talking about Floyd Mayweather. If you go back and watch that Floyd fight, it wasn't even close. It was a shutout. And the reason why the people say that Terrence Crawford had to win that by knockout, even though he didn't, is that one judge, when Canelo fought Floyd, had Canelo winning the fight. was just fucking ridiculous. He's like, the boy whipped the man from 1 to 12. You want to give him 2-3 rounds, fine. But for him that you have Canelo winning that fight, absolutely ridiculous. But shout out to Bud Crawford, congratulations. Very big class act on Canelo's part and Terrence Crawford part after the fight, being there was so much turbulence leading up to the fight. Look who showed up.
Maze
Mace in the building.
Been a rough morning, man. Been a rough morning, man. Mike, it's been a rough morning, man.
Come on, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. We gonna get through this, baby.
Hey, Mike,
We gonna get through this today, baby.
Mace, glad to have you here. We're gonna get into that game too. So literally nobody.
y'all was just talking about the GOAT. Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
I had to chime in. I had to stay outside, really. I knew Ken was going to talk about this, but Terrence Crawford is the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
He's the new GOAT. I'm going with new hotness. New hotness. LeBron, they do it with LeBron, so.
The GOAT of everything, every ever?
Yeah, he's the GOAT of every era. I'm going viral. I'm trolling.
And one thing I want to say that I think we have to give Mayweather credit too. That I think is his biggest.
Wait. He's not the GOAT?
No. You're right. No. What he did, that's what I was talking about earlier. What he just did was put himself in that up there with how we see the Alis and the Mike Tysons. But he was talking about the brilliance of Mayweather. And I think the most brilliant thing Mayweather did was flip that script, baby. Like, Don King used to come in and promote the fights and gave Mike Tyson, we want $5 million. You want $5 million fight. That's what they got to fight, like for the Rumble in Jungle in Africa and all of that, $5 million. While Don walked off with 100 or 200 million. Mm-hmm. Floyd came in and said, holy dole. No mole of that going on over here. He said, I'm going to hire the producer, and I'm walking away with all of that money. Right. So Floyd, because I work with them. Mm-hmm. I work with Showtime and Paramount. The dude would tell me, we great friends, best of friends. I was with him last night, as a matter of fact. He said, Michael, I got to get Floyd these checks. I got $250, $60 million checks over here I got to give to Floyd. You know what I mean? From those fights that they were having. Right. And Floyd pays the producer. That's why I'm talking, that's the brilliance. Right. That was the most brilliant thing of all things. And now you get fighters trying that, but you got to build your brand like he built his brand. So yeah, I want to just give him that credit.
Absolutely.
I'm going to add my 2 cents real quick before I ask a couple more questions about the fight. First of all, that was my first fight experience, which was a dope experience.
First?
Yes. I feel super blessed because I'm like, for my first fight, that was great. So again, also shout out to Cam for him saying, feet on the wood or it ain't good, because Netflix did hook me up. Got to go in the Winfield Club. I saw Mike there. I'd never been there before. It was everybody there. They giving us tomahawk steak. Good. I know y'all are talking technical, but I gotta talk about the experience real quick.
Yeah, it was.
Chicken tenders and caviar, right? Ooh. They're giving us tomahawk.
Oh man! Yo, what's up, Snake? Oh, thank you. I forgot about that. That was a good one. Hey, before you start the next game, let me do something really quick, dude. But thank you very much again. Oh yeah, customize. Yeah, right now I'm trying to like focus on playing as attackers, dude. So just an FYI. Just because I need to do my battle pass stuff. I have to play 3 more games. And then once I'm done with that, I could play like any other role that isn't an attacker. But I'm ready, dude. I am ready. He's heading up.
Final stretch! You're on fire!
Do you have? Nice.
5, 4, 3, 2, go 1! Time's up!
$19 KOs is crazy. I think that the Zeraora was throwing though. In my opinion. But we take those. We take those. Oh man. That was weird.
Steak. We have a sweet section watching the fight. Then I can go closer on the floor to watch the fight. That was crazy.
That was great.
It was super fire.
They're doing a great job. Netflix, you're right. You give them some fire on that.
Netflix. And the energy was literally insane. It was crazy. It was a lot of people, of course. So it was really dope to see.
Getting better over the years, man. Yeah, taught you out, man. Yeah, that's exactly the standard.
You can't go any other way.
Exactly. You can't go backwards now.
You cannot. Okay.
Wait. All this is great. Is Terrence Crawford not the GOAT?
He is.
He is the GOAT.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
All right.
And he made that statement last night. And that's what we were talking about, Mace. You made this. He made the statement in the ring. And because, think about this. I was with Evander Holyfield last night, and they're doing, a documentary on him. And Evander was a bad man. A bad man. But he's a quiet champ. Good champ. God bless you. When he gets up there. And Terrence Crawford is that same champion. God bless you. Thank you for the fight and everything. Mm-hmm. And I just think, when Mike Tyson want to rip your head off and everything, well, that's easy to promote that.
Yeah.
They all want to say, whoa, that's a black man. Rip your head off. He's a crazy man. You want to promote that. But that good, quiet Christian brother is not the thing they promote. Right. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the thing that goes big. So even in a rematch, the champ should be able to make the call because he's the champ. He makes the call on the belt, but not the call on the crowd because Canelo has the crowd. Last night, we watched that game in Mexico City. You see what I'm saying?
I know, totally understand.
And I love my people. And I've said that a million times. And I love my Mexican people. They're big Cowboy fans. So, but they were in there last night, So you got to consider the belt in the crowd. Right. And a rematch, yeah. I would love to see a rematch. And Crawford says we flipped the script because Canelo made 150 and Crawford made 50. I don't think they'll flip the script and give Crawford 150 and Canelo 50, but we can 125 this thing a piece, you know what I'm saying? And on that next fight. And I hope they make that.
Well, the thing about it is, it's funny that you brought that up, Mike, is because Tarver said that, I watched Antonio Tarver, and he was saying that, that
damn it, man.
Crawford, he just won. He's the money man. No. And Crawford, like Mike says, arguably could be the GOAT. Because you think about this, he's a 3-time undisputed champion in 3 different weight divisions. You got people who's champion in 4, 5, 6 weight divisions, but not undisputed. He's the first one, and he undisputed in 3 different weight classes. But if anybody should know better, is Antonio Tarver. Because you knocked Roy Jones out, and you didn't become the money man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not comparing those two. But people just like who you like. When you talk about Floyd Mayweather realized after he beat Oscar De La Hoya that you got to think about his last fights until he retired. All people who's not from this country, all people who's going to get the pay-per-view numbers from other countries, whether it's Ricky Hatton. God bless the dead. Ricky Hatton just passed away. I don't know. They didn't say what happened, but R.P. Ricky Hatton. Even when he fought the MMA nigga, the UFC nigga.
Conor
McGregor. Exactly. Every fight he did after De La Hoya, he said, I'm going to make sure it's somebody who can get from another country. So he pulling the money from the other countries. Right. And then he said, I don't need to brawl with you as long as I win. Because Floyd will tell you, there's more people to pay to see him lose. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck how you pay for it, as long as you pay for it. So I give him credit that. And then he also marketed himself well. All them 24/7s the niggas used to do when it be all access 24/7, Floyd will show you, it'll be an hour show. Floyd will show him boxing for 7-8 minutes of the show. The rest, I'm going to buy a Ferrari today. The rest, I'm going to buy a watch today. He sold a lifestyle. And that's what made niggas want to be.
Counting $1 million.
Yeah, count $1 million
all of that.
in the house, the sneaker collection, so on and so forth. And to me, Bud don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm gonna be Omaha. I'm gonna be the person I am. And as long as if you making 50 and you going home to your family and you from the place where you started from, I can't count niggas' money. I'm pretty sure 50's a lot in Omaha. 50's a lot anywhere in the country. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying he'd be the money man because he don't care about promoting like that. But I definitely think he could get a bigger check if it's a rematch.
Okay, so post-fight, Canelo had a quote where he said, "I think Crawford is way better than Floyd." So just after hearing him say that, what is your thoughts on the comparisons or him even saying that after the fight?
Yeah, well, that was interesting because I was messing with Mace earlier because, Bud said he had been hit harder even by someone else besides Canelo. And then Canelo, and I said, man, I guess they're just throwing barbs at each other. But that would be, man, because I can't doubt that Bud would fight anybody or beat anybody. You know what I'm saying? Even the Floyds, what he's done right now. I gotta say, I can't go up against that, and you can't doubt the Floyd to beat anybody. It's just what that is, and that'd be a hell of a fight.
Oh man.
And you can do those things now because it's like you said, it's about attention.
Yeah.
Who cares even so about what nobody cares. We can put this together and both of them will make $200-300 million.
Y'all saying y'all would want to see Floyd fight?
I'm just saying if
I was about to say. Yeah, right now that would be a horrible fight. But
him up here, bro.
Back in the day, that would be I wouldn't go against Floyd against anybody. It's just the feat that he's reached on this one run is insurmountable. Just like Killer was talking about, when you have somebody that is undisputed in 3 weight classes, that's not easy to do. It hasn't been easy for people to do in one field. You think about all of the great fighters that look like they're dominant where they are, and they still are not undisputed. You look at Gervonta. You look at what Floyd did. He was never undisputed, and he totally dominated that particular weight class. And he went up a few weight classes, but you got to remember, Buzz started at 130. To make it all the way to 168 and be the champ is even further than Pacquiao went. And Pacquiao started out almost that light. And you saw how much praise we have for Pacquiao.
But Pacquiao brought their crowd too down. Pacquiao another one, boy. They're going to line him up for Pacquiao when he's fighting.
Yeah, so I'm going on a record. Bud is the GOAT out of all the fighters.
I don't go against Floyd. There's nobody better than Floyd for me. Bud could be pretty close, but for me, there's nobody better than Floyd Mayweather.
No way,
This
bro.
is my personal opinion. And I know Bud's argument is that every time they say he don't fight somebody, he beat the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? You ain't fight. He said he told Canelo that shit.
Now he's gonna go score,
Canelo
bro.
was like, who'd you fight? He's like, I'm gonna start a more hole than you next. Since I ain't fight nobody, you the person that I prove since I haven't fought nobody, you'll be the name. And even Errol Spence. Shit he did to Errol Spence, and no disrespect, I haven't seen Errol since. No disrespect, you know what I'm saying? So, but for me, it's just about, like I said, and I know this is not Bud's fault. For me, Bud is in an era where the names aren't as popular that he beat. That ain't his fault that's when his birth certificate is. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, even like Roy Jones, you'll sit there and I talk about Roy Jones the best, some people, or at least he was pound for pound the best at the time. But the question is, who did Roy fight? James Toney, when they were young, before Bernard Hopkins, when Bernard Hopkins was young, and not like when they was prize fighters. But I'm asking y'all, because y'all both be boxing, who's a notable name that Roy Jones fought?
Yep. And I know what you're saying, and you're right. You're right. If you're in an era,
Mike is
right,
his name.
you're in an era
So you
where
know
we do
what
the
name
names. No,
Mike
yeah,
is.
that's what I'm saying. Because there's nothing to pop off. There's nothing to pop. So there was no great fighters that we measured him against that he beat in his era.
Right.
You know, right? So Sugar Ray beat Thomas Hearn.
Right.
And it beat Hearn and Marvin Hagler.
Right.
And we saw those fights.
Right.
So we were able to say, and then Roberto Duran, you know, and we saw those fights. That's what made, and that's why Bud beating Canelo, that starts lifting him up because we got those names out there. So yeah. You're right. I'm still trying to think on who would beat.
Yeah, because you sit there and look. I'm just looking at a couple when Floyd, and this one he's 38 and 0. You got Oscar De La Hoya, you got Ricky Hatton, got Juan Marquez, who called him up. Shane Mosley.
Oh, Marquez is a bad boy.
Yeah, but Marquez, Floyd retired. Marquez stuck going around to I want to fight Floyd. Floyd got retired and beat the shit out of him. Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, Madonna, like Pacquiao.
Zab Judah.
These are the names that when nigga, and I'm not, like I said, it ain't Terrence Crawford fault. But when you actually look in their resume, you be like, who'd you fight? Nigga, who did not fight? That's a question you ask for Floyd. So I'm not mad at anybody who has Terrence Crawford as the GOAT, bro. I'm not mad at him. Just for me, I actually seen it. Even Terrence Crawford, like I said, that's his biggest gripe. That people are saying, who did I fight? Who did I fight? It ain't your fault that niggas was trash during your run. And not saying you didn't fight good fighters, but last night you solidified your name, at least to be in the conversation for Cameron on the Mount Rushmore. It's about who you want to put up there. But for me, I don't go against Floyd. He goes 50-0. Didn't duck nobody. Not only that, if you really want to look at it, you can look at Mayweather as like a Steph Curry. When you say change the game, niggas wasn't trying to get all this money. You know, all these fighters don't fight each other no more. All the good fighters that's good, they don't fight each other because they don't want to lose, because Floyd ain't lose. They don't want no O on their record. Once you get an O on your record, you can't do what Floyd did. They want to make the money Floyd made. You just said this niggas still waiting to cut Floyd $150 million checks from old pay-per-views probably, and they want the money that Floyd got.
I'm not sure. I wasn't sure why scoring at that moment was so important. Could have had the objective. We could have killed the talent from him, for sure. I can't kill talent playing by myself. I don't get it. We would have been having the objective. Then we could have pushed the score. There are better options than that at that moment. What is it? Let me see. Okay, there's an attacker. Why I already picked middle, bro. That Charizard is garbage, bro. I swear to God, bro.
The final goal! You're on fire!
They're starting at bot Azumarill. God damn it, bro. Bro, I swear to fucking God, dude. We had Bro, we always have that fucking game, dude. That fucking Charizard. That was the worst Charizard I've ever seen, dude. Bro had only 2 kills, bro. Surrender people, man.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
Bro, I don't get why they always give me the worst freaking players, dude. I don't understand that, dude.
You lose.
I don't get it, bro. I don't know what else to do, dude. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. You can't make this up. I don't get it.
He's a trendsetter for the era that's here now, and I'm not even necessarily saying that's a good thing. He kind of fucked it up because niggas want his money, want his lifestyle. Now we're not seeing the fights to get niggas to
But that's why you got to give Netflix some love, because they'll bring they want epic events.
Right.
Think about this, and I was talking about it with them last night. They started out by giving you what you want when you want it, right? Me growing up, I wanted to watch Jefferson. 9 o'clock Wednesday, boy, be your butt right here. I sat my butt right there at 9 o'clock. Netflix comes in and say, you can stream this thing when you want to. You ain't got to be there at 9 o'clock.
Absolutely.
So now they get back into the TV business in order to now make you come up and show up at a certain time. Like they said, that event has to be epic. That's why we get a Canelo.
Yeah, but
in a Bud fight, and that's the part of it now that comes in, because like the Logan Paul, some of these guys can get that money because their attention is epic. It's not just about you winning and being on the O side. You can get that kind of attention and make that kind of money.
Okay, well, congratulations again to Terrence Crawford. We're going to go to break. When we return, we got a whole lot of football to get into, so don't go.
Man, we got to talk them Chiefs. Talk them Chiefs, boy. Talk about somebody getting knocked out. Okay.
Welcome back. Now let's get into our underdog picks of the day. Today, the Chargers will play the Raiders. Underdog has Justin Herbert at 1.5 passing touchdowns. Higher or lower, Mace?
I'm going higher.
Cam?
Yeah, niggas try to bring up Justin Herbert last week. Niggas act like I said F they moms. Yo, Justin Herbert, you bugging, kid? So that kid is good when he's healthy, man. I'm going higher, man.
Hey, Vlad McConkey's at 72.5 receiving yards. See if I'm higher or lower, Cam?
We'll go lower.
Yeah, lower.
Hey, and Ashton Genty is at half a rushing receiving yards. Higher or lower, Mace?
It's one of those things, when underdog does this, they know something. So I'm gonna go higher.
Cam?
What is it?
Ashton Genty's at half a rushing and receiving.
A half a yard is crazy.
You look good last week. Go higher.
Okay, make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. It's time to talk about the Chiefs. They're 0-2 for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era after losing 20-17 to the Eagles. Mike, what went wrong for the Chiefs?
And for a lot of years, we've been talking about the Chiefs and what they're losing, and they're not replenishing these areas. They won without Tyreek Hill. They won without Tyreek Hill. Don't think this is going to just keep happening, right? And now teams are catching up with them. And I'm telling you, I watched this game, and I love Travis Kelce. And I saw him on the sideline at one point. It was frustrating. Everybody was frustrated because everybody's talking. I saw him, and I read his lips. He threw something. He said, "I'm tired of this." I read his lips, and I said, I remember saying that when I really felt the dynasty slipping away. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel you trying to hold it together. And everybody here don't have the same grip that you have on it because they hadn't been here the whole while. Some of these guys are just getting here. They don't understand the standard. And you're watching this, you're watching all your hard work go down the drain. Now, this is, before it's a talent thing. It's just a talent thing. They find more talent. Now, this is becoming a mental thing. When you lose your last three, and the Chiefs have lost their last three, and remember now, they came out of losing the Super Bowl, the way they lost the Super Bowl, saying this ain't gonna happen again. So they went in all season saying, put our foot down, this ain't gonna happen again, we're gonna make it right. And then you start out 0-2. So yeah, this is more mental than anything. They get the Giants this week. And the Giants, well, the Giants get anywhere close to them, brother. Listen, Oh, if the Giants beat them after the Cowboys beat the Giants, I will be just, Mace, you wouldn't even allow me to come over.
I almost lost to the Giants yesterday, man.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's what I'm saying. But if they lose to the Giants, we beat them. We beat them. In the end, all it's going to say is win. That's what it's going to say in the end. That's what it says win. And that's what we got today. No, y'all ain't trying to tie. They're 0-3. 0-3 in the last 3. That's what we are right now. We'll get to the Cowboys who 1-0. But we'll get to the 0-3s.
Well, I'm speaking to my agent right now. We're thinking about moving Titletown. We're in serious consideration. We're gonna have to move it, you know. It's nothing personal to the Chiefs, you know. Sometimes, every now and then.
Makes you leave your team?
Every now and then you gotta move.
Gotta get ready for it.
Keep going,
Every now and then you gotta move the team. You gotta move it where it need to be.
Gotta get ready for war.
I'm just saying, when it comes to the Chiefs, it's not just they're 0-2. They're losing to the people that beat them in the championship. So if there was ever a team to come back and play strong against, this would be the team.
It was a close game.
You know, it didn't matter it was a close game, because the way we lost in the championship, you would have to come back and redeem that game. Forget even the first week, the second week. And I just think they're highly distracted when you think about a championship team. You know, you gotta score 30 points or higher. And you can't go scoreless 2 quarters, especially as Patrick Mahomes. You can't do it.
And Pat being your leading rusher, you know, Travis Kelce being your leading receiver, you haven't replenished the talent.
Let me down, man. It was the over and under if you was gonna say Titletown's on the move here, bro. Boy, fuck the bet. I said,
what was the parlay?
That you would say Titletown's on the move. First of all, the YouTube streets, they on you. They said the Titletown is 2-0 for every show. That you're gonna use the word Titletown. And Nick said, give me the one on the if you guys is on the move. So I'm just letting you know in the comments, there's all type of Titletown bets that you're gonna use it at least once or twice on the YouTube streets. And Nick took the bet with me. I said he ain't gonna do it, man. And I lost, man.
You should have told me.
Nah, I ain't want to cheat. I ain't want to cheat, man. I was trying to call your phone, but you wasn't picking up, man. I paid Nick on camera, so he ain't have to say I had to pay him later. My bad, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, Titletown got to be on the move. We can't be a team, organization that's biased. You know, the rules go for everybody. So just so people know, no matter where you are, is subjective. You know.
Yeah. See what I got to do with this 5 days a week, Mike. Chiefs ain't shit. The Chiefs ain't shit, man. Listen, man, me and Mike was talking before the show, and sometimes you break this chemistry up for whatever reason. You get your ring, and then you want the money. You get the money, you want the ring, or whatever. But I see the frustration that he was talking about with Travis Kelce. I seen that frustration on the sideline started at the end of last season, but yesterday's game with Tyreek Hill. Now, if I think Tyreek Hill was on this Chiefs team right now, I don't think they were talking about the problems they had. You got to think about this. Travis Kelce is not a spring chicken. He's not going to be moving the same way he was 4 or 5 years ago. Not saying it's over for him, but he can't be a primary receiver. I know their primary receiver is hurt right now. Pacheco came back. He's not running the ball like they used to run the ball. They're not getting the ball down the field. And for Patrick Mahomes to end up with 187 yards, and then the intel as well, you know, who do you blame that on? Do you blame it on Kelce not catching the ball or not being ready? And then that kind of helps them lose the game. They're not getting the ball down the field. I'm talking about the Chiefs. And what we keep coming accustomed to saying, even Mike, myself, I don't even count what you have to say about the whole thing.
They'll find a way.
That's what we're saying. Andy Reid. If anybody can do it, Andy Reid can do it. No, you gotta realize if anybody can do it, Andy Reid can do it. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 3 games. Andy Reid is not doing it. And I'm not saying that Andy Reid can't do it. You know better than I do, Mike. But I just don't understand. I get people going for their money. But when you have a great chemistry, like Eric Badu, Deanna